Doctor, please save my mom." The words didn't come out all at once. They broke apart. Like glass hitting the floor, the girl said it again, quieter this time, as if lowering her voice might somehow make it easier to hear. She couldn't have been more than 15. Thin, pale, a hoodie pulled tight around her small frame, sleeves covering her hands like she was trying to disappear inside the fabric. She stood in the hospital corridor, frozen in place, tears running down her face without any attempt to wipe them away. Her mother had been rushed in less than half an hour earlier, unconscious, her body rigid with pain, so intense she couldn't even speak by the end, just groaning, clutching her legs. Her back, her arms, everywhere. It looked like her own body had turned against her. The girl paced the hallway over and over. Every time a doctor passed, her head snapped up, hope flashed, then faded. Again and again. I wasn't family, I wasn't staff. I was just waiting on a report of my own, but I couldn't look away because I had seen this pain before. Not in that hospital. Not in that woman. But in my own home, 2 years earlier. My mother was 52 years old, active, independent, the kind of woman who never sat still for long. Then one morning she tried to get out of bed and couldn't. Her legs felt heavy, she said, like they were filled with wet sand. Her back was stiff, her knees burned. Every movement came with a sharp inhale, like her body was bracing itself for impact. We all said the same thing people always say, "She's getting older. It happens. That's just part of aging." That explanation was easy, comfortable. It didn't require action, but the pain didn't stop. It spread. Within 3 months, she couldn't stand for more than 10 minutes. Folding laundry became an exhausting task. Sitting down meant needing help to get back up. Some days, she cried not from sadness but from sheer physical discomfort that had no clear cause. We took her to doctor after doctor. Tests, x-rays, scans. Everything came back normal. No arthritis, no fractures, no autoimmune disease. She was sent home with painkillers and told to rest, but it wasn't normal. And it wasn't aging. It was something far more common and far more overlooked. Vitamin D deficiency. When we finally tested it, her level was 11 nanograms per milliliter. 11. The doctor stared at the report and said quietly, "It's a miracle she's even walking." I looked back at the girl in the corridor. Her mother could have been my mother. And her future could have been ours. Because this story is not rare. It is repeating itself across the United States quietly, daily, and often without diagnosis. In America, there is a belief so deeply embedded that it rarely gets questioned. Pain after 40 is normal. Stiff joints? Normal. Achy legs? Normal. Weak muscles? Normal. Difficulty standing up, walking long distances, or climbing stairs? That's just aging. But biology does not agree with that story. According to data from the National Institutes of Health and the CDC, persistent muscle pain, bone discomfort, and weakness are not inevitable features of aging. They are signals that something essential is missing. One of the most common missing elements is vitamin D. And the reason this deficiency is so dangerous is not because it's rare, but because it's invisible. Vitamin D-related pain doesn't always scream. It whispers. It shows up as a deep ache in the thighs or hips, stiffness in the lower back that improves slowly during the day, a feeling of weakness rather than sharp pain, muscles that fatigue quickly, a sense that your body feels older than it should. Many people describe it as feeling heavy, not injured. That's because vitamin D doesn't just affect bones. It influences how muscles contract, how nerves communicate, and how calcium moves into the structures that give your body strength and stability. When vitamin D levels drop too low, muscles lose efficiency, bones lose mineral support, posture begins to change, balance subtly declines, and pain emerges not from damage, but from dysfunction. Here is the uncomfortable truth backed by research. Over 40% of adults in the United States have insufficient vitamin D levels. In adults over 40, that number rises sharply. In adults over 60, deficiency becomes the rule, not the exception. Studies published by the NIH and reviewed by Mayo Clinic show that many adults with chronic musculoskeletal pain had no obvious disease, only low vitamin D. And yet most were never tested. Why? Because their pain was labeled as age-related. Time does not cause pain, biology does. Aging alone does not weaken muscles overnight. Aging does not suddenly drain bones of mineral strength. Aging does not explain why pain improves dramatically after correcting a deficiency. Vitamin D deficiency does. Clinical studies have shown that patients with chronic muscle pain and weakness often experience measurable improvement in strength, balance, and pain levels after vitamin D levels are restored. Not painkillers. Not surgery. Not physical therapy alone. Just restoring a hormone-like nutrient their body had quietly run out of. Why the body hurts instead of breaking. One of the reasons vitamin D deficiency is overlooked is because it doesn't always cause fractures at first. Before bones break, they weaken. Before muscles fail, they fatigue. Before posture collapses, balance shifts. This is the stage where pain lives. A deep, persistent discomfort that doesn't show up on scans but shows up in daily life. People stop walking as much. They sit more. They move cautiously. And slowly, strength declines further. This creates a dangerous cycle. Low vitamin D gives muscle weakness, gives less movement, gives weaker bones, gives more pain, gives higher fall risk. This is not hypothetical, and I supported. Studies have repeatedly shown that low vitamin D is associated with increased fall risk and fractures in adults over 40. Even before osteoporosis is diagnosed, the girl in the hospital corridor didn't know any of this. She just knew her mother was hurting and that no one had given them a clear answer yet. That is the most painful part of this deficiency. It robs people of certainty. It makes them doubt their own bodies. It makes families feel helpless. It convinces people that suffering is normal. It is not. If you are over 40 and experiencing ongoing muscle pain, bone discomfort without injury, morning stiffness that takes hours to ease, weakness that doesn't match your lifestyle, fatigue that lingers despite normal blood tests, then this conversation matters, not because vitamin D is a miracle cure, but because it is foundational. Without it, your body cannot maintain strength, balance, or structural integrity the way it was designed to. And without understanding that, pain gets mislabeled as fate. Pain is not punishment. It is information. And in many adults, that information has been misinterpreted for far too long. The story you heard at the beginning, the girl, her mother, my own family, exists to challenge one belief. That hurting after 40 is just something you accept. It isn't. It's something you investigate. And once you understand how vitamin D shapes bones, muscles, posture, and movement, the picture becomes much clearer. The body is not failing you. It is asking for support. And the next step is understanding how vitamin D actually works inside your bones and muscles, not in theory, but in real biological terms that explain why pain shows up where it does. There is a moment many people over 40 remember clearly, not a dramatic one, not an accident. Just a quiet realization. You stand up from the couch and your knees hesitate. You bend to pick something up and your back protests. You wake up in the morning and your body feels like it never rested. You pause for a second. Then you shrug it off. This is just part of getting older. That belief is so common that it almost feels responsible, mature, logical. After all, no one expects their body to feel 20 forever. But here is the uncomfortable truth most people never hear. Aging alone does not explain this kind of pain. Not the deep ache in the legs. Not the stiffness that lingers all day. Not the muscle weakness that makes simple movements feel heavy. And certainly not pain that keeps spreading slowly, quietly year after year. Across the United States, millions of adults are living with discomfort they've accepted as normal. Aging, when in reality, their bodies are sending a very specific signal. One that often goes unheard. To understand that signal, we need to talk about what your bones and muscles are actually doing every single day. And what happens when vitamin D quietly slips out of balance. Most people think of bones as static, solid, finished. But bones are not lifeless structures. They are living tissue, active, dynamic, constantly rebuilding themselves. Every day, your body breaks down small portions of old bone and replaces them with new material. This process keeps bones strong, flexible, and able to handle stress. Here's the part many people do not realize. Vitamin D is a key regulator of this entire process. Without enough vitamin D, your body cannot absorb calcium properly from food even. If your diet is rich in it, that means calcium passes through instead of strengthening bones. Bone rebuilding slows down, microdamage accumulates silently. Over time, bones become less dense, less resilient, and more sensitive to pressure. This does not show up as a sudden fracture at first. It shows up as dull bone pain, aching legs, asterisk, lower back discomfort, sensitivity during movement, or weight-bearing pain that feels vague but persistent. This is why people with low vitamin D often say, "My bones feel sore from the inside." That description is more accurate than they realize. Bones are only half the story. Muscles are often the first to speak up. Vitamin D plays a direct role in how muscles contract, relax, and recover. It helps regulate calcium movement inside muscle cells, the very signal that tells a muscle when to tighten and when to release. When vitamin D levels drop, muscle contractions become weaker, recovery slows down, fatigue builds faster, muscles feel heavy, stiff, or shaky. This is not exercise soreness. This is functional weakness. It explains why many adults say, "My legs feel like they weigh a ton. I get tired just standing. Climbing stairs feels harder than it should." Researchers at the National Institutes of Health have repeatedly observed that people with low vitamin D show reduced muscle strength, especially in the thighs and hips, the very muscles that keep us upright and stable. This weakness increases fall risk long before bones ever break. And yet, most people never connect muscle pain to vitamin D. They blame age. Here's a hard question asked gently. If aging alone caused this kind of pain, why do some people in their 60s move freely while others struggle in their 40s? Why do some retirees hike and travel while others avoid stairs? Why do symptoms improve dramatically in some people once vitamin D is corrected? The answer is uncomfortable because it challenges a deeply rooted belief. Pain is not an automatic consequence of age. Large population studies in the US and Europe have shown that vitamin D deficiency is widespread even in otherwise healthy adults. According to data reviewed by the NIH, over 40% of US adults have insufficient vitamin D levels. Rates are higher in people over 40. Muscle pain and weakness often appear before bone disease is diagnosed. Yet culturally, pain after midlife has been normalized. So people stop questioning it. They stop asking why. A physical therapist in Ohio once described a pattern she kept seeing. Patients came in for knee pain, or hip stiffness, or back discomfort. Most were between 45 and 65. They all said the same thing: "I guess this is just age catching up." She noticed something else. Many of them struggled with basic movements, standing from a chair, balancing on one leg, walking upstairs. These were not athletes, but they were not inactive either. After months of seeing this pattern, she started asking patients a new question. When was the last time your vitamin D was checked? Most did not know. Several later returned with lab results showing significant deficiency. When those patients began medically guided vitamin D correction combined with gentle movement, the changes were noticeable. Not overnight, but steadily. Less stiffness, better balance, improved confidence in movement. The pain they thought was permanent began to loosen its grip. One reason this problem persists is because routine blood work does not always tell the full story. Standard tests may show normal calcium, normal hemoglobin, normal kidney function, and yet, vitamin D can still be low enough to impair muscle and bone function. The body works hard to maintain calcium levels in the blood, even if it has to pull calcium from bones to do it. So blood calcium looks normal, while bones quietly weaken. This is why people are told everything looks fine, while they feel anything but fine. There is another reason vitamin D related pain is overlooked. It does not arrive suddenly. It creeps in. A little stiffness here, a little soreness there, a bit more fatigue than last year. Because the change is gradual, the brain adapts. What once felt wrong becomes familiar, and familiar starts to feel normal. By the time pain interferes with daily life, the deficiency may have been present for years. As muscles weaken and bones become more sensitive, posture begins to change, often unconsciously. People shift weight to avoid discomfort. They hunch slightly to protect the back. They shorten their stride to feel stable. Over time, these adjustments create new strain patterns. Tight hips, overworked lower back, neck, and shoulder tension. Pain spreads not because the problem is spreading, but because the body is compensating. This is why people say, first it was my knees, now it's my back, now my shoulders hurt too. It feels like aging is accelerating. In reality, the body is adapting to an untreated imbalance. As we age, several things change. Skin produces less vitamin D from sunlight, kidneys become less Efficient at activating vitamin D time outdoors often decreases sedentary routines become more common. None of these are personal failures. They are biological realities. But when combined, they create the perfect conditions for deficiency. That is why pain often appears after 40, not because the body is wearing out, but because its support systems are quietly undernourished. Instead of asking, how old am I? A better question is, what does my body need that it's not getting? Pain is not always damage. Sometimes it is a message that says, muscles are not firing properly, bones are not rebuilding efficiently, recovery systems are under. Strain. Vitamin D sits at the center of all three. As you sit with this, notice something important. We have not talked about immunity. We have not talked about infections. We have not talked about supplements yet. We are staying focused exactly where this video is meant to be. On bones, on muscles, on pain that people mistake for age. What comes next is critical, because once you understand how vitamin D and calcium actually work together, the reason for this pain and the way out of it becomes much clearer, and it may change how you interpret every ache you've been ignoring. Pain does not rise evenly across the world. That may sound surprising, but it is one of the most revealing clues in understanding why so many adults over 40 are struggling today. If aging were the primary cause of bone and muscle pain, then people everywhere across climates, cultures, and lifestyles would suffer at roughly the same rate. But they do not. Some countries report dramatically higher rates of vitamin D deficiency, muscle weakness, and bone pain than others. And the differences are not subtle. They follow patterns. Patterns shaped by where people live, how they work, how they move, and how modern life quietly reshapes the human body. Over the past 2 decades, researchers began noticing something odd. Vitamin D deficiency was being reported most frequently, not in poorer countries, but in some of the most developed nations on Earth. The United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, Northern Europe. Countries with advanced healthcare systems, abundant food supplies, high health awareness. And yet higher deficiency rates. Meanwhile, in parts of Southeast Asia, Africa, and rural regions of South America, deficiency rates were often lower, despite fewer medical resources. This forced researchers to ask an uncomfortable question. Could modern comfort itself be part of the problem? Human biology evolved outdoors. For thousands of years, daily life involved sunlight, walking, physical labor, and natural rhythms. But in the last 100 years, especially the last 50, daily life has moved indoors. Consider a typical adult in the United States. Morning commute in a car, workday under artificial light, lunch eaten inside, evening spent on screens, weekends filled with errands, not sun exposure. Even people who live in sunny states often receive less meaningful sunlight than their grandparents did. And sunlight is not optional for vitamin D. It is the primary trigger. Without adequate sun exposure on bare skin, vitamin D production drops regardless of diet. This explains a paradox doctors often see. People living in sunny regions with severe vitamin D deficiency. Large observational studies from Europe and the US consistently show higher rates of musculoskeletal pain, increased stiffness after midlife, greater fall risk in older adults. Vitamin D deficiency is a recurring factor. In Northern Europe, limited sunlight during winter months reduces vitamin D synthesis for nearly half the year. In the US, the issue is less about latitude and more about lifestyle. Office-based work, screen dependency, minimal outdoor movement, even when sunlight is available. It is often filtered through glass, which blocks UVB rays needed for vitamin D production. Many people assume, I eat well, I should be fine. But vitamin D is not abundant in most foods. Even diets considered healthy may provide only small amounts. And modern food habits make the problem worse. Processed foods replace whole meals. Fast food dominates busy schedules. Cooking methods reduce nutrient availability. This does not mean fast food directly causes deficiency, but it displaces nutrient-dense meals that support overall balance. Meanwhile, traditional diets in some cultures include sun-dried foods, outdoor meal preparation, daily walking, less reliance on packaged meals. These habits unintentionally support healthier vitamin D levels. Vitamin D is not just about sunlight. Movement plays a supporting role. Walking outdoors exposes skin to light, improves circulation, and stimulates muscle activity, all of which enhance how the body uses nutrients. Sedentary routines, common in developed countries, create a double burden. Less sun exposure, less muscle engagement. This combination accelerates muscle weakness and stiffness. That is why people who sit for long hours often experience pain sooner, even if they exercise occasionally. The body responds best to consistent, low-level movement, not bursts of activity. Here is an important distinction many people miss. Being busy is not the same as being active. Many adults feel exhausted, but not physically engaged. They move from chair to car to desk to couch. Muscles remain underused. Bones receive less mechanical stimulation. Vitamin D deficiency amplifies this effect, reducing muscle efficiency even further. The result: early fatigue, postural strain, aching joints again, mistaken for aging. Modern life brings another factor. Older generations faced less intensely. Chronic stress, deadlines, financial pressure, constant notifications, mental overload. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, a hormone that affects bone turnover, muscle recovery, inflammation balance. While stress does not directly cause vitamin D deficiency, it worsens its effects. People under prolonged stress often report widespread body aches, poor sleep, slower recovery. When vitamin D is already low, stress magnifies physical discomfort. A study published through European Musculoskeletal Research followed middle-aged women from two regions: urban office workers in Northern Europe, rural agricultural workers in Southern Asia. Despite differences in income and healthcare access, the rural group reported less chronic muscle pain, better mobility after age 40, lower fall risk. Vitamin D levels were significantly higher. Not because of supplements, but because of daily sun exposure, continuous movement, outdoor routines. This was not about better genetics. It was about environment. Modern hygiene and convenience save lives, but they also reduce natural exposure. Air-conditioned homes, covered clothing, sunscreen use, indoor entertainment. Each factor alone is reasonable. Together, they reduce vitamin D synthesis dramatically. This does not mean people should abandon safety or hygiene. It means awareness matters. Pain is not always inevitable. Sometimes it is environmental. As the body ages, it becomes less forgiving. Small imbalances that were tolerated at 25 become noticeable at 4-5. Muscle recovery slows. Bone turnover changes. Hormonal rhythms shift. Vitamin D deficiency that once caused mild fatigue now causes pain. This is why symptoms often appear suddenly after midlife, when in reality, the imbalance has been building for years. Instead of seeing pain as a personal failure or an unavoidable fate, it helps to see it as a signal shaped by modern life. Your body did not suddenly betray you. It adapted as long as it could, and now it is asking for support. We now understand. This problem is widespread. It follows lifestyle patterns. It affects developed nations heavily. It worsens with sedentary routines and stress. The next step is crucial, because understanding why deficiency happens is only half the story. The real turning point comes when we look at how vitamin D and calcium actually work together inside the body, and why correcting one without the other often fails. That connection explains fractures, posture changes, and why pain persists even when people do everything right. There's a quiet misunderstanding that sits at the center of modern bone pain. It sounds logical, almost comforting. If I'm getting enough calcium, my bones should be fine. Milk cartons say it, supplement bottles promise it. Doctors often mention it. And yet millions of people with adequate calcium intake still experience bone thinning, stress, fractures, chronic muscle pain, postural collapse, height loss after midlife. So what is going wrong? The answer lies in the right combination of products. Most people never learn about calcium does not work alone, and when vitamin D is missing, calcium can become almost useless. A woman in her early 50s, let's call her Karen, visited an orthopedic clinic in the Midwest. She had done everything right. Daily milk, yogurt, calcium supplements, walking every evening. Still, she suffered 2 stress fractures within a year. Her scans showed bone weakening inconsistent with her habits. The doctor paused. He ordered a vitamin D test. Her levels were 14 ng/ml, severely deficient. The diagnosis shifted instantly, not to osteoporosis alone, but to functional calcium deficiency. Her body had calcium available. It simply could not use it. Calcium is absorbed in the intestines, but it does not pass freely. Vitamin D acts as the signal that opens the gate. Without adequate vitamin D, calcium absorption drops sharply. Bones receive Less mineralization muscles lose contractile strength. Studies from the National Institutes of Health show that without sufficient vitamin D, only a fraction of dietary calcium is absorbed, sometimes less than half. That means you can consume enough calcium on paper and still be deficient at the cellular level. Bones are living tissue. They constantly remodel, breaking down and rebuilding. Vitamin D plays a critical role in this balance. When vitamin D is low, bone breakdown accelerates, bone rebuilding slows, microfractures accumulate. This is why pain often appears before major bone loss is visible on scans. The body feels the strain long before machines detect it. Here is something many people do not realize. Muscle pain often appears before bone pain. Vitamin D receptors exist inside muscle cells. Low vitamin D reduces muscle fiber efficiency, strength generation, coordination. This leads to heaviness in the legs, difficulty rising from chairs, aching after simple movements. It is not weakness from disuse alone. It is biochemical. After 40, pain is often explained away. It's just age. It happens to everyone. Your body is slowing down. But research from Mayo Clinic and NIH shows something different. Much of what we label as aging pain correlates strongly with vitamin D deficiency, not age itself. In controlled studies, adults with corrected vitamin D levels showed improved muscle strength, reduced fall risk. Diffuse pain. Age did not disappear. Pain did. Low vitamin D weakens muscles first. Weak muscles impair balance. Poor balance increases falls. Falls lead to fractures. This sequence is well documented in geriatric research. It explains why hip fractures rise sharply in populations with low vitamin D even when calcium intake is adequate. This is not sudden fragility. It is a slow, silent cascade. Look at posture changes after midlife. Rounded shoulders, forward head tilt, compressed spine. These are not cosmetic issues. They reflect muscle fatigue and bone stress. Vitamin D deficiency contributes by weakening postural muscles, reducing spinal support, allowing gradual compression. Pain often follows posture, not the other way around. Many people take calcium supplements faithfully and feel no better. This leads to frustration, but without correcting vitamin D status, supplements remain underutilized. Pain persists, bone density may continue to decline. This is why modern guidelines emphasize combined correction, not isolated nutrients. A large review published through NIH evaluated fracture risk in older adults. Finding was clear. Calcium alone showed limited benefit. Vitamin D alone showed limited benefit. Together, they significantly reduced fracture risk and improved muscle function. The partnership mattered more than the dose. Many people internalize pain. They blame laziness, weight, poor discipline, but biology is not moral. It is responsive. When the body lacks the tools it needs, it adapts poorly. Pain is a message, not a verdict. Understanding this connection reframes the entire conversation. Pain after 40 is not inevitable. It is often correctable, but only if the full picture is addressed. Not just calcium. Not just exercise. Not just aging, but the chemistry that makes strength possible. In clinical follow-ups, many adults report reduced muscle aches, improved mobility, better posture, less fear of movement. Not overnight, but steadily. As balance returns. As strength rebuilds. As confidence grows. If you or someone you love takes calcium but still hurts, walks but feels weaker, eats well but aches daily, the issue may not be effort. It may be coordination inside the body. And that can be addressed. We have uncovered why calcium fails without vitamin D. Bones and muscles weaken together. Why pain escalates after midlife. Next piece is deeply practical and deeply misunderstood, because even when people correct vitamin D levels, some still feel pain. The reason lies in how muscles adapt or fail to after long deficiency. That is where the next section takes us. There's a moment many people reach that feels deeply confusing. They finally get answers. They finally see the lab report. They finally hear the words, "Yes, your vitamin D was low." They start treatment, weeks pass, and yet the pain doesn't vanish. The stiffness lingers. The weakness still shows up in the morning. Climbing stairs still feels heavier than it should. That's when doubt creeps in. Maybe this really is just aging. Maybe supplements don't work. Maybe my body is just broken now. But here is the truth most people are never told. Vitamin D deficiency does not damage only bones. It rewires muscles. And muscles do not heal on a blood test timeline. When vitamin D levels stay low for months or years, the body adapts. Muscles begin to fire less efficiently, contract more slowly, lose coordination between fibers. This is not visible on X-rays. Not always visible on routine labs, but it shows up in daily life. That's why people say, I feel unstable. My legs don't trust me. I'm afraid I'll fall. This fear is not imagined. It is learned by the nervous system. A Mayo Clinic documented case followed adults over 45 with severe vitamin D deficiency. After supplementation, blood levels normalized in 8 to 12 weeks. Pain improvement lagged behind by several months. Muscle strength recovery continued for up to a year. The conclusion was simple but powerful. Correction begins in the blood. Recovery finishes in the muscle and brain. Muscles rely on repetition. When weakness persists for long periods, the brain reduces signal strength, the body avoids certain movements. Protective stiffness develops. This is survival, not failure. Your body chooses safety over strength when resources are low. Even after vitamin D improves, the nervous system remains cautious. That's why sudden intense exercise often backfires. Many people respond to lingering pain with force. They push harder. They stretch aggressively. They try to power through. And pain increases. Why? Because deficient muscles are not deconditioned, they are miscalibrated. Research from NIH shows that gradual, low-load movement restores muscle signaling far more effective than high-intensity training after deficiency. Healing is not about punishment. It is about retraining trust between muscle and nerve. Retired school teacher from Arizona, age 61, shared her experience in a clinical narrative study. After correcting her vitamin D deficiency, she expected relief. Instead, she felt discouraged. Her doctor explained something that changed everything. You've been protecting your body for years. Now we have to teach it that movement is safe again. She started with short walks, gentle posture work, slow strengthening. 6 months later, she reported less pain, better balance, renewed confidence. Not because time passed, but because her body relearned function. This is difficult for many people to hear, but it is empowering. Pain does not always mean damage. Sometimes it means old protection patterns, lingering inflammation, muscle hesitation. Vitamin D deficiency sets these patterns in motion. Correction opens the door, but recovery must walk through it. Modern culture expects instant results, but biological repair is slow and layered. People stop treatment because pain didn't disappear quickly. They felt discouraged. They assumed it didn't work. This is not a failure of treatment. It is a failure of expectations. Small stabilizing muscles, especially in the hips and spine, are the first to weaken during deficiency. These muscles do not burn, do not ache sharply, simply stop supporting you. Pain then appears elsewhere. Knees, lower back, neck. This misdirection leads many people down the wrong path. They treat the pain, not the source. Some days feel better. Some days feel worse. This is normal. As muscles reawaken, old tension releases, new soreness appears, movement patterns shift. This does not mean regression. It means recalibration. Pain changes identity. People stop trusting their bodies. They avoid movement. They shrink their lives quietly. This emotional layer matters because fear stiffens muscles more than deficiency ever did. Recovery must include reassurance, not just supplementation. Across multiple NIH and orthopedic reviews, vitamin D correction improves outcomes, gradual movement restores strength, patience predicts success. Those who expect overnight change struggle. Those who allow their bodies to relearn thrive. This is the moment many viewers recognize themselves. They are not broken. They are in transition. And transitions require understanding. So far, we have uncovered why bones weaken without vitamin D, why muscles ache and stiffen, why pain persists even after treatment. The next step is practical and deeply misunderstood, because lifestyle, movement, stress, and daily habits determine whether recovery completes or stalls. That is where the story goes next. No one wakes up one day and decides to weaken their bones. No one chooses stiff joints. No one plans to lose balance, posture, or confidence in their own body. And yet, for millions of adults over 40, pain slowly becomes part of daily life without a clear moment when it all went wrong, not because they did something terrible, but because modern life quietly changed how the body moves, rests, and repairs itself. The human body evolved in motion. Walking, carrying, bending, standing up and sitting, down dozens of times a day. But somewhere along the way, especially after 40, movement became optional. Cars replaced walking. Chairs replaced squatting. Screens replaced sunlight, and muscles adapted. They shortened. They weakened. They forgot how to support bones. Vitamin D deficiency magnifies this shift, but it does not create it alone. Large population studies comparing adults in the United States, Northern Europe, and parts of East Asia reveal a striking trend. Countries with higher indoor work hours, higher screen time, lower daily movement show significantly higher rates of vitamin D deficiency, muscle pain, postural weakness, early bone density loss. This pattern appears even when diets differ, meaning food alone does not protect against modern inactivity. Sitting is not neutral. Prolonged sitting shortens hip flexors, weakens glute muscles, shifts spinal alignment, alters weight distribution over time. Bones carry load unevenly, muscles compensate. Emerges. Vitamin D deficiency makes this worse by reducing muscle efficiency and calcium handling, but posture sets the stage. Many people say, "My whole body hurts. Nothing feels stable. I can't pinpoint one spot." This happens because stabilizing muscles fail. First, larger muscles overwork joints. Absorb shock they were never meant to. Pain becomes widespread, not localized. This confuses both patients and clinicians. A 47-year-old warehouse supervisor from Ohio participated in a musculoskeletal study examining unexplained chronic pain. He walked over 10,000 steps a day. He assumed he was active, but motion analysis revealed minimal hip engagement, poor posture, repetitive strain without variation. His vitamin D was low, but his movement patterns kept him in pain even after correction. Only when posture and daily movement changed did pain recede. Stress is not only mental. Chronic stress raises muscle tension, reduces recovery, alters hormone balance. When stress remains high, muscles never fully relax. Pain thresholds drop, fatigue deepens. Vitamin D deficiency and stress feed each other quietly. The body stays locked in protection mode. Many people believe, if I exercise more, pain will go away. But intensity without intention worsens symptoms. Research shows that gentle weight-bearing movement improves bone signaling, slow resistance rebuilds muscle confidence. Work reduces fall risk, random activity does not. The body needs clarity, not chaos. Walking is essential, but incomplete. It maintains circulation. It does not restore posture, strengthen stabilizers, retrain balance. That's why people walk daily yet still feel weak. Movement must include standing transitions, load through hips, controlled motion. This is not about fitness, it is about function. Muscles are mostly water. Chronic mild dehydration increases stiffness, slows recovery, raises pain sensitivity. Adults over 40 often drink less, not more. This compounds vitamin D-related muscle issues quietly. Pain is not inevitable. Weakness is not guaranteed. Stiffness is not destiny. Studies comparing active aging populations show dramatic differences in mobility and pain independent of age. Lifestyle matters more than years lived. This is where responsibility meets relief. Not blame. Understanding. Pain after 40 is rarely one thing. It is a conversation between deficiency, movement, stress, habit. When one improves, the others must follow. So far, we have uncovered structural damage, muscle memory, lifestyle saboteurs. The next layer is deeply practical and often misunderstood because restoring strength and reducing pain requires simple daily strategies, not extreme interventions. That is where the journey continues. Pain changes how people move, not all at once. Not dramatically. Quietly. You start avoiding stairs. You rise from chairs more carefully. You brace yourself before bending. You hold onto railings you never needed before. And without realizing it, your body starts negotiating with pain instead of working with strength. That negotiation is where decline begins. After 40, many people adopt one rule: don't strain yourself. It sounds wise, but the body interprets caution as withdrawal. Muscles weaken when they are avoided. Bones lose confidence when load disappears. Balance fades when it is no longer challenged. Vitamin D deficiency accelerates this process, but fear completes it. Not all movement is equal. Some movement rebuilds trust between the brain and muscles. Other movement creates tension, guarding, and flare-ups. Healing movement is slow as controlled respects pain signals without surrendering to them harmful. Movement is rushed, is unbalanced, triggers compensation patterns. The goal is not fitness. The goal is confidence. A 62-year-old retired teacher from Minnesota participated in a fall prevention study after suffering 2 minor fractures in 3 years. She wasn't inactive. She walked daily. She ate well, but she avoided standing on one leg, getting up from the floor, reaching overhead. Her vitamin D levels were borderline low, but the real issue was fear-driven stiffness. Once guided through safe balance and transition movements, her pain decreased before strength even improved. Confidence returned. First, bone tissue is alive. It listens. When bones experience gentle pressure, they signal reinforcement. They improve mineral use. They strengthen structure. When pressure disappears, density declines, fragility increases. This is why long-term rest weakens bones more than controlled movement ever could. After 40, muscles lose efficiency, not intelligence. They still respond to signals, but they need clear instruction, predictable patterns, time under gentle load. This is why slow resistance works better than fast repetition. Muscles rebuild trust before they rebuild size. The simple act of standing up from a chair engages thighs, hips, core, balance systems. Repeated daily transitions signal the body, I am still needed. People who lose this ability lose independence faster than those who lose strength elsewhere. Balance is neurological. It depends on vision, inner ear muscle coordination. Vitamin D deficiency affects muscle response time, making balance corrections slower. This is why falls increase even before major weakness appears. Training balance early prevents injury later. Posture is not about sitting straight. It is about alignment under gravity. Poor posture compresses joints, overworks small muscles, alters breathing patterns. Correct posture redistributes load. Pain often decreases without strengthening anything, just by repositioning. In a Mayo Clinic affiliated rehabilitation program, adults over 50 with chronic back and hip pain were observed. Those who focus first on posture correction, not strength, reported reduced pain within weeks, improved walking confidence, less stiffness upon waking. Vitamin D correction improved outcomes, but posture triggered early relief. Stretching feels good, but it does not teach muscles how to work. Without strength, stretching creates instability. Joints absorb stress. Pain returns quickly. Stretching should follow control, not replace it. Carrying lightweight groceries, laundry, water containers is not dangerous when done intentionally. It trains grip, core, posture, bone signaling. Avoiding load entirely weakens the system that protects joints. Bodies over 40 recover slower, but adapt reliably. Consistency matters more than effort. 5 minutes daily beats 1 intense session weekly. The body responds to patterns, not promises. This surprises many people. Pain decreases when movement becomes predictable. Muscles feel supported. The nervous system relaxes. Strength comes later. Pain is often a signal of confusion, not damage. Many adults lose faith in their bodies. They fear injury. They fear worsening pain. They fear making mistakes. But the body responds to reassurance. Gentle, repeated signals tell it, you are safe. And safety precedes healing. At this point, several truths become clear. Pain after 40 is not weakness. It is adaptation gone wrong. Vitamin D deficiency lowers resilience, but lifestyle determines direction. Movement, posture, and confidence rebuild the foundation. There is still one critical piece left, because even with movement, posture, and vitamin D correction, some people remain stuck. The missing link lies in how the body repairs itself over time. That is where the next layer unfolds. Most people assume damage comes from big mistakes. A fall. An accident. A serious illness. But after 40, the real damage is rarely dramatic. It comes quietly. Daily. Almost politely. It comes from habits so normal they never feel dangerous. Ask most adults when their pain started. They won't say, after an injury. They'll say, it just slowly showed up. That slow arrival is important, because it tells us something critical. This pain is being fed, not triggered. Sitting itself is not harmful, but prolonged sitting replaces movement in ways the body cannot adapt to. Bones require loading, muscles require activation, joints require range. When sitting dominates the day, Repair signals decline, the body begins to conserve instead of rebuild. Vitamin D deficiency worsens this by reducing muscle responsiveness, making movement feel harder, so people move even less. In occupational health studies across the US, adults over 40 who worked long-seated hours reported more back stiffness, more hip discomfort, slower recovery after activity even when exercise was present. Prolonged sitting reduced its benefits. The body responds to what it does most. Pain feels like a warning. But pain is not always a stop sign. Sometimes it is a request for modification. Adults who respond to pain with complete withdrawal often worsen. Stiffness. The body interprets absence of movement as risk. Vitamin D deficiency increases pain sensitivity, making this cycle stronger. Many people drink enough water. But hydration is not just volume. It is balance. Muscle contraction and relaxation depend on minerals. Bone remodeling depends on ionic signaling. Without adequate mineral balance, hydration alone does not support repair. This contributes to cramps, stiffness, and delayed recovery. Walking is good, but bones require resistance. After 40, many people unconsciously avoid carrying groceries, climbing stairs, getting up from the floor. This avoidance reduces mechanical signaling to bones. Bone strength declines quietly. Vitamin D deficiency makes this decline faster. Many adults sleep enough hours. But sleep quality matters more than duration. Pain disrupts deep sleep. Stress disrupts repair hormones. Vitamin D deficiency is associated with poorer sleep efficiency, especially in older adults. Without deep sleep, tissue repair slows dramatically. Patients with chronic musculoskeletal pain often report, "I sleep, but I don't feel restored." When vitamin D status improves, sleep quality often improves, even without sleep medication. This suggests a link between nutrient signaling and restorative cycles. Food is not just energy. It provides instructions for repair. Protein provides structure. Minerals provide signaling. Fats support cellular communication. When diets prioritize convenience, repair materials decline. This does not cause immediate pain, but cumulative weakness. The body adapts to frequency. Gentle daily loading outperforms intense, occasional exercise. After 40, consistency signals safety. Safety allows repair. Vitamin D deficiency disrupts this signaling, making consistency even more important. Posture affects load distribution. Poor posture increases strain on muscles and joints. Pain becomes centralized instead of distributed. Vitamin D deficiency weakens postural muscles, worsening alignment. This creates pain without visible injury. Stress is not just mental. Stress hormones interfere with bone formation and muscle repair. Chronic stress shifts the body into preservation mode. Vitamin D plays a role in regulating stress response pathways, linking emotional and physical recovery. Caregivers often report widespread pain, fatigue, stiffness. Even with adequate nutrition, stress alone can impair repair signals. When combined with vitamin D deficiency, the effect multiplies. The body is sensitive at this stage. Small improvements produce noticeable relief, not because the body is fragile, but because it has been waiting for support. Recovery begins when the body senses consistency in movement, nutrition, rest, sunlight. Vitamin D acts as a coordinator, aligning these signals. If pain has slowly crept into your life, ask yourself, am I sitting more than I think? Have I avoided movement instead of adapting it? Do I sleep deeply or just long? Is my body receiving repair signals daily? Pain is not punishment. It is feedback. At this point, you understand why pain appears after 40, why healing slows, which habits quietly worsen the problem. One final piece remains: how to restore strength safely, predictably, and without fear, especially when pain already exists. At some point, most people stop asking, why does my body hurt? And start asking something quieter. Is this just how life feels now? That question matters more than any lab test, because when people stop believing their body can recover, they stop giving it the chance. It rarely happens dramatically. No announcement, no decision. Just a slow acceptance. People stop squatting to pick things up. They avoid stairs. They brace before standing, not because they are weak, but because they no longer trust their body. That loss of trust changes everything. This is where many people get misled. They think recovery requires Extreme workouts, aggressive supplements, pain tolerance, but the body after 40 does not respond to force. It responds to consistency and safety. Vitamin D plays a role here, not as a cure, but as a coordinator. The body rebuilds when it senses three things: safety, predictability, adequate signaling. Pain removes the sense of safety. Erratic habits remove predictability. Deficiencies weaken signaling. Restore those three and repair resumes. Some people fix vitamin D, some start walking. Some eat better, but improvement stalls. Why? Because repair is not one action, it is a system. Vitamin D supports muscle response. Movement provides mechanical signal. Rest allows integration. Miss 1. Progress slows. Adults who improved most shared three traits. They moved daily, not intensely. They respected pain signals without fearing them. They supported recovery instead of chasing results. Their pain did not disappear overnight, but their confidence returned first. And confidence changes behavior. Healing accelerates when people stop asking, "How do I stop pain?" and start asking, "How do I help my body feel safe again?" This is subtle, but powerful. Vitamin D does not heal bones by itself. It enables communication. It helps muscles respond. It supports calcium utilization. It improves neuromuscular coordination. Without it, the body hesitates. With it, the body participates. Movement does not have to be exercise. It can be standing up more often, carrying light loads, using full range of motion. The goal is not fitness. It is reassurance. Cardio improves endurance. Strength restores confidence. Bones respond to load. Muscles regain tone. Joints stabilize. Even minimal resistance creates adaptation. Vitamin D deficiency weakens this adaptation, making restoration feel harder than it should. When posture improves, pain often decreases without targeting pain directly. Why? Because load redistributes. Weak muscles stop compensating. Joints move as intended. Vitamin D supports postural muscle endurance, especially in the spine and hips. Repair does not occur during movement. It occurs during rest. Deep sleep allows muscle repair, bone remodeling, nervous system recalibration. Vitamin D is associated with improved sleep efficiency, which explains why pain often eases indirectly after correction. Healing is not linear. Some days feel better. Some feel stiff again. This does not mean failure. It means adaptation is occurring. The body tests changes before accepting them. People who recover long-term stop identifying as broken. They stop narrating pain constantly. They notice capability instead of limitation. This mindset reduces stress hormones, which directly supports tissue repair. A man in his late 50s described his recovery like this: "I didn't wake up pain-free. I woke up less afraid to move. That changed everything." Within months, pain followed confidence, not the other way around. Aging does not cause pain. Neglect causes pain. Fear causes pain. Deficiency accelerates pain. Age simply reveals what has been unsupported. Across these chapters, one message stays consistent. Your body has not betrayed you. It has been adapting the best it can with the signals it was given. Change the signals, and the response changes. If you are over 40 and dealing with pain, you are not fragile. You are not weak. You are not done. You are under-supported, and support is learnable. Pain after 40 is not a sentence. It is a conversation, and once you understand the language, you can respond. Pay attention. This week, not to pain, but to what reduces it. Does movement help? Does sunlight change how you feel? Does better rest ease stiffness? Your body is communicating. This chapter completes a cycle. From confusion gives to understanding gives to restoration. But one important system remains unexplored. The system that protects you when stress increases, when illness strikes, and when recovery demands resilience. That system is immunity, and it is deeply connected to vitamin D. You do not need to chase youth. You need to restore alignment. Your body knows how. You just needed someone to explain why it stopped trying.